In this video, I will show you how to convert the pre-2022 encoder reader on the new style motor with the current style encoder reader on the VL and RK-WHISPER wheels. In this video, I will be replacing it on a VL-WHISPER, and for the RK-WHISPER, the process is the same. The tools you will need are a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, diagonal cutters, a 2mm, 3mm, and 4mm Allen wrench, and one zip tie. Turn off and unplug your wheel. Locate the 8 motor cover screws. Remove them using a number 2 Phillips screwdriver and remove the motor cover. The first step is to remove the encoder reader, which is located on the motor bracket underneath the encoder cover. Using the 3mm Allen wrench, unscrew the 4 socket head cap screws that mount the encoder cover to the bracket. Very carefully lift the cover straight up, then out to be sure it does not hit the encoder foil inside. This is the encoder foil. The encoder foil fits between the encoder reader. It is very fragile, so make sure not to touch or bend it, or it will render it unusable. Using the 3mm Allen wrench, remove the 2 socket head cap screws that mount the encoder reader to the motor bracket. Using the diagonal cutters, cut the zip ties that lock the encoder reader harness into place on the bracket. Carefully slide the encoder reader out and away from the encoder foil. Next, cut the zip tie that locks the encoder reader harness into place on the control board. Squeeze the 2 tabs on either end of the plug. Pull out the encoder reader from the control board. Lastly, remove the noise reducer by unclasping the clips that lock it into place. Now going back to the motor bracket and the encoder foil assembly, use the 2mm Allen wrench to loosen the set screw on the encoder foil assembly. Carefully remove the assembly, and again, be sure not to knock the foil, bend it, or touch it. From here, remove all 4 socket head cap screws that mount the motor bracket using the 4mm Allen wrench. Now we can replace the old motor bracket with the new motor bracket with the new encoder reader pre-installed. Mount the motor bracket with the 4 socket head cap screws using the 4mm Allen wrench. Shift the encoder reader off to the side to allow you space to remount the encoder foil assembly. Align the hole where the set screw is to the flat side of the motor shaft. Using your 2mm Allen wrench, tighten the encoder foil back onto the motor shaft. Now carefully bring the encoder reader back to its original position, sliding the reader so that the foil is as close to being centered between the 2 ends of the reader. From the top looking down, hover the 2 dots on the encoder reader over the patterned band of the foil. Holding the encoder reader down, replace the socket head cap screws to mount the reader in place using the 3mm Allen wrench. Confirm that both ends of the reader are aligned properly with the foil. Now carefully place the cover back on, making sure not to touch the encoder foil. Replace all 4 socket head cap screws using the 3mm Allen wrench. Snap the noise reducer on the new encoder reader. Plug the encoder reader back onto the control board. The plug is keyed, so it can only go in its specific spot and its specific orientation. Use a zip tie to secure the harness and the ground wire to the control board. Lastly, replace the motor cover and all 8 motor cover screws. Plug the wheel back in and turn it on.